So I don't really. Got it. Okay. Maybe that's better. Yeah. See, mashallah. I think they can see that. Okay. So let's start. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Huh? Kya hua?
That's the one we were using. Because the link hasn't changed.
The same thing. You just click on
Yeah,
that.
because we didn't change the link. What does it tell you?
Sorry, guys. If anyone has any questions, you can ask. Yeah, they're just setting something up.
What does it tell you?
It's giving the recording of the last.
All right. So I'll start with this. इस लिंक को सेव रखना है.
Okay, hold on. Let me copy it.
All right, forget it. Let's just because they're waiting.
You can start. You can start.
Yeah.
You can start.
All right. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam. So I'll read from Imam Ghazali's. So broke up sun lo. The Quran encompasses the core principles of all matters. Everything is in the Quran, little and much, small and great. Its wonders do not exhaust, despite the passing of ages. No definition can encompass its benefits in the estimation of men of reflection, nor can much repeated recitation make it old. For those who recite it, make it old for those who recite it. So no matter how much you recite the Quran, it never gets old. There's always something new in it. This is the words of Allah. It is the Quran which has guided the ancients and the moderns to the right path. Even the jinn have been guided by the Quran. Everyone who has believed in it has indeed been favored by Allah. One who has professed the doctrines of it have surely spoken the truth. One who has held fast to it has really become rightly guided. And one who has acted in accordance with it has certainly achieved success. These are the words of Imam Ghazali, just talking about what level of love and appreciation we should have for the Quran. So that's why, inshallah, today, we will focus and relish each word that will be mentioned. That's why we're looking at the surahs, so we can enjoy every little tashkil, every little thing. We're going to try to enjoy of the Quran, every word. You guys ready or? I want to know the participants are, so.
Okay, we got about 11.
You want to know the names?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you click on participants.
Got it? Yes. There we go. All right. Okay. See you again now. All right. All right. So I'm not going to review the last lesson. Everything in this class, inshallah, becomes clear right when we do the surah, because we're going to do a lot of repetition, right? So you'll see the same word, the same rules coming about, inshallah. So that'll make it easy. Even if you feel a little lost, you'll see how many times we do each the words. So everything will become clear slowly. So Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. We're not going to look at Bismillah today. We'll look at that at a later time. Okay? That requires its own breakdown. So we're going to jump right into Wat-Tin. So, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. We can recite together. I can ask some of you guys to recite if you, and so those who want to do the tajweed. So it's Wat-Tini was-Zaytuni wa-tur. Tur, ta is different than ta. All right. So whoever wants to, so you can say, let's say it together. Wat-Tini was Wat-Tini. Teen, ta. The tongue is between the teeth. Wat-Tin. These are the tajweed rules. Wat-Tini was-Zaytuni. Wa-tur, ta. Assalamu alaikum. This is a different than ta. Wa-ta, the tip of the tongue goes behind the teeth. Wa-tur, wa-turi sinin. Wa-hadha. So many times when we recite, we say وهذا البلد وهذا البلد وهذا البلد. The ha should be made clear. Wa-ha, wa-hadha. It comes. It's not a ha sound. It's a ha sound. So you should make a difference between wa and ha. So Wat-Tini was-Zaytuni wa-turi sinin wa-hadha al-baladil amin. Wa-hadha. And in tajweed, we all have, the more you move your mouth and keep it completely flexible, the better. So we should actually over exaggerate. As we were saying, like this is the words of Allah, right? Every syllable of this is divine. So to relish it, to pronounce it, to enjoy it, to understand it, contemplate it, inshallah, will be a benefit to us. So وَهَذَا الْبَلَدِ الْأَمِينَ. Okay, so let's talk about this line. So Wat-Tini. Wat-Tini, why is it Wat-Tini, not Wat-Tinu? Do you know?
They're talking about and only one thing.
Nope. Anybody else? Go ahead. Anyone else want to guess? You can. You're welcome. Anyone can take a guess. We're not going fast. We're gonna go slow. Why is it Ali Bhai? Why is it Wat-Tini, not Wat-Tinu?
It starts with wow.
Yeah, but wow can mean and.
Oh, I know.
You know,
Because it's majroor form.
The majroor. Who's answering this question? This is good. Who's answering this?
Yaman.
Oh, Yaman. Wa alaikum salam. So why is it majroor?
Why is it majroor? Maybe because it's like Jumlat al-Qasam.
Yeah. So this wow is not the wow of. It's not wow of and.
It's qasam.
So if it was Atinu was Zaytunu, that would mean figs and olives. But it's not Atinu was Zaytunu. It's Wat-Tini was Zaytuni. Because it's the wow of qasam. Like people say, Wallahi. When they're saying by Allah. But that's when they're saying that. But in this time they're saying by Allah is saying, I swear by the fig and the olive. Allah swearing by it. So in the qasam and the muqsam alayh, there's always something linked. So Allah is making a qasam of something. That means there's something special about olives and figs. Now we can't go. I'm not going to go into it right now. What I'll say is that we should at least recognize, and this is like probably a research project, of the vast and immense benefits of figs and olives, and there's trees and the oil that comes out of for instance, of olives, and people who in the medical field, there's a lot of people who kind of come up with a lot of oils. You'll hear there's a common debate about omega-9. So olive oil has a very unique oil. It's omega-9 fatty acid. There's only another oil has that, canola oil. Okay, it has omega-9. So many people say, oh, canola oil has this omega-9, and olives have it. So canola oil has all its heart benefits like olive oil. So instead of going into that debate, all I'll say is that Allah swore by the zaytun. So just that enough. That's my reason to have such a high emphasis on olives and olive oil. And we can, instead of going into the debate, we know that there's something great about this particular fruit. So Allah swore by it. He said, "Watini," by the olive, by the fig, was zaytuni. Because we know that when you guys all know the term now, hopefully everyone memorizes it. Teen is what? Figs. And was zaytun are olives and everything from them. So watini was zaytuni. Waturi sinin. Okay, what's turi sinin?
Tur is a mountain.
Tur is a mountain.
So swearing by a mountain.
Which mountain?
Sini.
Okay, what is Sinin mountain? Anyone know?
Mount Sinai.
Mount Sinai. Mount Sinai is where Musa alayhi salam received the 10 commandments. It's in Egypt. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Prophet Musa. All right? Prophet alayhi salam, Musa. He received the 10 commandments. The Jewish people followed Musa alayhi salam. He's our prophet. Everyone's prophet, but he was before Isa alayhi salam.
What is 10?
It's like instructions from Allah. All right? And so he received 10 of them. And that was on Mount Sinai. It's in Egypt. Okay, they also call it Jabal Musa. So Watini was Zaytuni, Waturi Sinin is referring to places. The places where Teen and Zaytun are most prominent are the Levant area, Al-Quds and Damascus and Jordan, Lebanon area. They're just the best pigs and olives come out of that area. So this is a place that we know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent divine revelation. It's the place where Allah sent messengers. So Allah is swearing by not just the teen and zaytun, it's swearing by the place. Wat-teen wa zaytun, wa tur sinin, another place of revelation, and wa hadha al-balad al-amin. What is hadha al-balad al-amin?
Can I just ask you one thing before we go back? So one thing. So you said what is wow? Wow is just wow al-qasam.
Wow al-qasam.
So we didn't talk about is a hood fit jar. So that's why
So
the kasra
if you guys look at the
is-
notes, everything after the wow al-qasam has a kasra. It's wow al-qasam makes the next word, the next noun, majroor. So it's not watinu, it's watini. If it was watinu, it would mean and olives or and trees and figs. So we know that this is qasam because of the wow. So the kasra at the end of these three, atini, zaytuni, waturi, sinin.
Sinina.
Okay, it's sinina. Okay, that's good catch. So first we have to understand that we know that it's not talking about one olive or one tree. Why do we know that? What's your name again? Asim? Ahsan, right, Ahsan. Ism tafdeel. So how do we know Allah is not talking about one olive or one so he's not talking about no. If he said how do you know it's not talking about a olive or a because tanween. Good. Tanween. It is saying talking about specifically what teeny by the olive. So there's something specific about he's specifying it. If it was teenin, zaytunin, it'd be by olives and by figs. It's now saying Allah saying something specific about it. What teeny was zaytuni. And so this is why the ulama have said that this is talking not just about olive, they're talking about the olive, but of the olive, the region of Damascus, and Al-Quds. This is why Al-Quds is one of the places where Allah sent divine revelation. It's a very holy place for Muslims. So the things that are happening right now, Allah is swearing by that place. It's something very important to the Muslims because Allah is swearing by a place of divine revelation. Yes.
When you stop, so for example, what dini was zaytun. So like if I'm gonna stop and then go.
Yep.
So you don't say what, like, if you only say what dini was zaytuni, what if you're gonna continue in one breath.
Right.
What is
Good question. Okay, so we're talking about tajweed rules. When you stop at the end of a sentence, then you don't join the last the punctuation marks of that last word to the next. But if you do watini wazaytuni waturi, if you stop at it, then you drop the last the tashkil, the last one. You drop it when you stop at it. Watini wazaytun or watin.
If you don't, it would be correct.
It would, yeah. If you don't, it would be correct. Then you use it. You say watini wazaytuni wa. But if you stop on it, you drop the last. That's one of the rules. Okay. So question was, why is it tur sinina and not tur sinin? Ni. Okay. This is the actual word is Sina. All right. Which is one of the it's Sina. The word is, the mountain's name is like Sinai. It's Sina. Sinin is used in the Quran as one of the ijaz of the Quran, one of the miracles of the Quran, of how it's relating to the people that it talks about, because the information was not available. So among Jewish history, when they use the words in, when they attach it to something, it's a form of respect. They make certain things, they add respect to it by adding in. So we talked. So in the Quran, you might have heard of Allah referring to as Il Yasin. Have you heard that?
Yeah.
It's Il Yasin. Why? Its name is Ilyas, but it's a form of respect. So in this particular surah, because we're talking about Surah Sina, those people refer to those places in the respectful form. Allah actually using their language, and Allah does this in other areas too. So in the language of the Bani Israel is used as a form of respect, and yeah, Il Yasin is another example, and we'll go to other surahs in surah
Surah
where actually, yeah, in surah Yusuf alayhi salam. Okay, the woman, yes, she's referred to as Sayyida, right? The woman married to the king, because that's how they were referred to. Whereas in another surah, the spouse was referred to as Baal in Egypt, because that's another place in the surah, that in other parts of the Quran. So Allah, the ijaz of the Quran for this surah is that He's talking about a certain people, the Bani Israel, and He's using their vocabulary. That's a very unique thing about the Quran. So it's supposed to be Sina, but it's not. It's here. And actually, mashallah, in it, Allah has made the surah rhyme, which makes it just even more incredible. Yeah.
Isn't swearing bad?
No, it's not cursing. It's not cursing. Swearing doesn't mean cursing. Swearing is by saying by this thing.
It's like a vow.
Yeah. You know what a vow is? To say you're taking something and saying, because of how amazing this thing is, what I'm saying is true. And so swearing is not good to say wallahi. It's not good to say that stuff. It's actually not a good thing. But Allah is using it to show some import. Allah can say it to show. We shouldn't say it for, like, in a regular language, especially for little things like, wallahi, I didn't eat the last piece of pizza. You have like ketchup. That's awesome. All right. So divine. Okay, the place of divine. Okay, so see, and then sinina, right? I told you that it's sinina, right? Number one, because of its unique form that's used in the Quran for respect. Second, Sinin is a foreign name. So foreign names, foreign nouns don't use they don't have the same, they don't follow the same rules. So names of so like when something is majroor, an Arab name will use the kasra. Foreign names don't use the kasra. Okay. So wattur, no, wattini, wazaytuni, waturi sinin. Now we're Allah's. وهذا البلد الأمين. هذا. Where was the surah revealed? Yes, this is the Meccan surah. So what are they talking about now?
About Mecca city.
Yes, they're talking about Mecca. So now Allah has sworn by 3 places of revelation. التين والزيتون, Damascus, and Al-Quds. وطور سينين, Egypt, Jabal Musa. وهذا البلد الأمين. Why the baladil? Why the baladil? أحسن. Why isn't it baladul? Ali bhai. Why isn't it baladul? Anybody else? Let's see here. Participants. Sister Jawaria. Why isn't it baladul? Why isn't it baladul? You can turn your mic on. It's okay to take a guess. No problem.
Is it because that wow kasra makes it a qasam?
Exactly. It's part of the qasam. Good job. So part of the qasam is continuing. He's swearing by the balad. Baladil Amin. So it's not baladul because it's going back to the wow of qasam. All right? Now, وَهَذَا الْبَلَدِ الْأَمِينِ. Why is it balad al-amini? This we haven't covered yet. I want to talk about this. This is called a construction. Okay? The idafa construction. The idafa construction is when we have 2 words, right, joined in some way. So here is balad, and amin. Okay? Baladil. Don't worry about this because it doesn't matter. Don't worry about the end of the first word because that depends on the where in the sentence it is. We know it was wow, so here it's baladil, right? So don't worry about this right now. With the idafa construction, all you have to worry about, the rule that we're talking about is the first word links to the second word and makes the second word kasra. What this shows is something called a construction, the idafa construction. It means the city, baladil. Oh wait, no, I'm wrong. Wait. This is hadal balad. Yeah, this is different, right? Hadal baladil al amin. This is different. This is baladil amini. Okay, so cancel. The idafa construction is still coming. This is just the amin is describing the balad. So when there's something called, when you describe in Arabic language a word, you have to describe it with the same type of the same exact way that word is represented. So al-baladi is the city, right? Al-amini is the safe and reliable and loyal and wonderful city that we're talking about. We're just talking about Mecca. So now this means the safe city. This is al and kasra here and kasra here. So that's how we describe something when it's a description, an adjective. So as-sayyarata, the al-asfara, as-sayyarata as-sufra, right? The yellow car, right? Ash-shanta al-hamra, right? Or kitabun is a book. Saghirun small, right? So whatever you for whenever you describe something, a book, and the word small has to be matched to it. So here we said al baladil al amini. So it's up. It means we are describing. Okay. All of these things will be reviewed slowly and slowly. That's it. We're just describing the balad. By
Rehan bhai,
Amin.
a couple of quick questions.
Yep. There's a question. 1 second.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So the thing is, actually, before you introduced me to this surah, I always, used to use the word Jabal for mountain. Is there
Yep.
any important difference between Jabal and Tur that we should know about, or it doesn't really matter?
You know what? That's a good question. I'm sure there is in the Arabic language. Every single word and every is used in a very particular manner. There might be a difference between Jabal and Tur.
Is one word more
Is it
formal than
mountain?
the other?
What was that?
Is one word more formal than the other? Because in Arabic TV
I'm not
shows,
sure.
I've never
I
heard.
know that Tur is our high mountains that in between. That there's a wadi in between. I don't
Okay.
know if that's different from a Jabal or not.
Okay. And my second question, Rehan bhai, was, for city, I thought it was Medina, but over here, Balad is being used. So same question. Is there a difference we should know about?
Between Balad and
Balad and Medina.
oh yeah. Yes, there are some differences. I'm sure, absolutely, but I don't know. I have because these tafsirs they go into like what the words usage means, but they don't always compare them to other words. So I don't know the exact difference between Balad and Medina.
Right. It's funny in Bengali, the word for municipality is Baldiyat.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah, and in Amia, Balad means downtown. You say,
thank you so much.
Yeah, sorry. There's certain things I definitely won't know, but over time, when we read more tafsir and stuff, they're gonna come out, and Allah, and there's nothing random here. Allah used every single word perfectly for a reason, so I'm sure there's some hikmah behind it.
Thank you so much.
All right, and all right, so وَالتِّينِ وَالزَّيْتُونِ وَطُورِ سِينِينَ وَهَذَا الْبَلَدِ الْأَمِينَ, this secure city. All right. So now we're talking about Allah's swearing by this place. All the prophets most of the prophets walked in this region. This was the center of the world. We call it the Middle East as if we're the center of the world here and they're in the east. But that's the middle of the world. That's where Allah sent all the prophets who were walking on those areas. Then he said, لَقَدْ. We covered this last time. لَقَدْ خَلَقْنَا. Now, we haven't covered this in the sense that what are pronouns? So na, at the end of a word, it means we did it. Okay? Over time, we'll learn various pronouns, but when you have a verb such as khalaqa, right? And you add na to the end of it, it means we created. If you said khalaqa, it is he created. Khalaqana is we created. Khalaqat, she created. Okay? So those things you inshallah over time we'll learn. We'll see. You'll just get used to it. You don't have to I don't have to go through all these pronouns. You'll catch them on very. So khalaqna okay, laqad. Okay, la of emphasis,
And then again,
and where it's done. We surely have really created. Laqad khalaqnal insana. Okay.
But can I ask you one question?
Yeah, go ahead.
So you said qad and lam and the qad, both of them used for emphasis, right?
Yep.
So you said lam itself is double emphasis, and then qad is also completely.
No, not double. Qad is one emphasis. Qad means the action is completed. Lam is emphasis.
Qad is emphasis.
No, qad is it's something that means it's completely finished. That action is completely finished. But it's a form of emphasis because we know when in the past tense, right? Qad means qad fa'ala, he did. It means you really fit, and that action is finished.
Okay. So lam is the one that is
emphasis. And qad also is a form of emphasis. Like he rode his bike. He rode and finished riding his bike. Qad. Laqad. He verily, surely rode and finished that.
Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has emphasis like
Yes.
it's like a big thing.
Big thing.
or-
He's saying something. There's something big coming,
Yeah.
and he's swearing by it, by all these immense things where Allah sent the prophets and
Wow.
these holy places. What is he sent? What is he swearing, telling you about? Now this lam, laqad, actually, when he says wa teen, was zaytun, wa tur sinin. Now this is a qasam.
Yeah.
The lam is actually the jawab al qasam. Wa this, and what? All of it. Laqad. This is the answer right here. Boom.
So
All
this
these.
whole thing is not the qasam or just that
Laqad.
lam is-
This now is coming. Laqad khalaqana. Okay, so I want to say, okay, now there's a new something here we're introducing, and again, there's going to be lots of repetition. Okay, we're going right to the meat, right? There is this Quranic course we're doing is jumping right to the source, the Quran that we're trying to understand. So I'm giving you lots of information, but don't worry. Over time, you'll see this over and over again, and you'll get more comfortable. There's a type of jumla. Okay, why is it khalaqnal insana? Okay, so in sentences, there is something called a subject and an object. Okay, this is in verbal sentences. Sentences that start with a verb. Khalaqa is a verb, right? To create. Everyone remembers that, right?
Yeah.
Khalaqa is the verb to create. We created, and that's the subject. Okay.
Mhm.
It's called in Arabic. You don't have to worry about it. You know, you can learn whatever feels comfortable to you. The vocabulary is not so important in terms of the grammar, but it's a subject that of what we're doing. We created, and then the object of what we created is the insan. So in verbal sentences, right? Subject and object is identified by the tashkil. Okay, so it's in Arabic is fi'l, fa'il, and maf'ul bihi. The fi'l is the action, the fa'il is who's doing it,
Okay.
right? And the maf'ul bihi is the thing that you're doing it to. Okay, you don't have to worry about that. I think in English, we said subject is we are creating. I'm the subject. What did I do? Or Allah is saying, I'm the subject. I'm the one who created. And the object is insan. So when in a verbal sentence, you identify someone, the subject, doing something to somebody else, it's called the subject and the object. And the object is always it's in what we learned, the mansub state. So we learned the maf'ul bihi. So we learned last time that there's three states. The default state is marfu', right? Has dhamma. This is not dhamma. It's fatha. This is the fatha is the mansub or has a nasb or a fatha. The reason is because it's the maf'ul bihi or the object of that sentence. So we know that in English, for example, we say, if I say the guffly guffled over the give me a word, over the something else, or over the grubble. The guffled over the grubble, right? In English, we can understand that the over the grubble, that must be the object. Because it came after a zarf, a particle that said over. And in the sentence placement, we can understand it. Even if we don't know what the words mean, we can still make out that there's something that guffled, a verb, ed reference, that's the verb. It did that. Well, I don't know what it means, but it guffled. And then it guffled over something, right? In Arabic, we recognize it through these tashkil. Okay? So that tashkil means when we say insana, we know, oh, insana, that's what this acted on it. Okay? So it's just a way to understand each word breakdown. In Arabic, this is the unique way of understanding. Even when you don't understand the words, you figure out what's happening through the tashkil. That's why it's important. Okay? So the guffled over the cover. Huh?
Simple example. If I
Yeah.
say tabakh shorba.
Yeah.
So it has like the ta marbuta is like, I assume that shorba ta. I would just.
Well,
say-
yeah. Shorba is like you're using a one with I think shorba is a alif. So use a
But
different
ta marbuta is different.
tabakh ruz.
Tabakh, yeah.
Tabakh ruza. Yeah, ruza. Because it's
Or the jaja. Or something.
The jaja. No, the jajata. But if it's the end of the sentence, you don't say it because it's the end of a sentence. So in Amiya, we don't say it. But it would be the jajata. You understand, Ali Bhai? Do you understand? Do you have any questions about this? The subject, the person who's doing it, it's starting with a verb, right? And when he does it to something, the object, that is in a mansub state. It's not insanu. Khalaqna al-insanu. If I said, if for example this now wasn't here, okay? If I said khalaqa al-insana, okay? It means he created man. If I said khalaqa al-insanu, does it change anything?
What's that?
Khalaqa al-insanu. Does anyone know if I said khalaqa al-insanu, what does that mean? Can someone tell me what that might? This.
Oh,
What happened to this? No, yeah. 1 second. Okay. Look like it looks like it's signed out. It's on power save mode, I think. Anyway, it's okay. It's okay. Yeah, it looks like it. You guys have to charge this before you come, Baba. Yeah. It's okay. It's okay. All right. So khalaqal insan. I'm sorry, I don't have a list of who's participating right now. So khalaqal insanu. What would that be?
Can I say?
Huh?
Can I go?
Let me. I don't know who to ask. Okay, you guys. One of you guys. Abdurrahman. This is a hard question, actually.
Can I say?
Huh? Khalaqal insanu. What would it mean?
Create the humans.
What is it? What is it?
Like creation of like humans. I think.
He created.
He created humans.
Yes, but because it's khalaqa means he created. When it said insanu, don't worry about it. Don't just pay attention. Don't worry about it. Insan. I'll just ask you who's in the class. Insanu. It means that he created, but who's he referring to? Insanu has a dhamma, so that means insan, people created. If you said khalaqal insanu, it means people created. Insanu is the one who did it. He created, he meaning people. Khalaqa, he, insanu, he created, and then you have to say something. So insana specifically refers to the thing that's created, object. You'll see I have this over time. This is they'll come out in the language.
So the fatha means the thing that is
The object.
Okay, whereas with the dhamma, it would be the one who created.
Yeah, but then it wouldn't be khalaqna. When you have khalaqna, and if you have insana, it wouldn't even. If you had insanu, it wouldn't even work. It'd have to be khalaqna insana. But if it was not na, right? Then you have the subject. The subject is actually this. The subject is always it has a dhamma because it's marfu'. Okay, we'll talk about it. Inshallah, we'll see it. So I just in this sentence, خلقنا الإنسان. And how? في أحسن تقويم. All right, let's see here. Is there somebody in the class? Zahara's in the class, right? Zahara, what does fi mean? What does fi mean? I know you know. Zahara.
Inside.
Yeah. Fi means inside. So good job. So لقد خلقنا الإنسان. Allah said, في أحسن تقويم. Fi means something that's completely inside, submerged. It's not be. Be means like with. Allah didn't say خلقنا الإنسان بأحسن تقويم. He could have. But Allah said, لقد, verily, surely, absolutely done, we created man, fi, completely drowned in the best of creation. Ahsani taqwim, the best of putting together, the best organizational method. And Allah's talking about not just our physical point, because if you can actually, you can debate that. Are we created in the best person, exact physical way? You can argue that, because, for example, the trachea is right beside the esophagus, right? Someone who eats something and they breathe the wrong way, they can actually absorb some, they could actually choke on it. Like, oh, that's a flaw. No, we're not talking about, there is something amazing about Allah's created, but Allah's not talking about just our physical forms, because we could that could be debated, right? Even though we think humans are amazing and we love the way we look and other human beings, but maybe it's subjective. But Allah's talking about the ahsani taqweem. Allah has made us with our faculty of choice, whereas Allah has created animals, right? Without that, they respond to instinct only. Allah also created angels. Angels don't have that choice. So Allah has given the human being the unique chance to be the ahsani taqweem, better than the angels we can be, but at the same time we can be worst than the animals. Allah created ahsani taqweem because Allah has some unique wisdom in how He made.
Is that consciousness, basically?
Yeah, it could be consciousness. It could be the design Allah chose to have our the free choice, the particular way He constructed all of creation and how we're suited within it. It's in itself is again, each one of these sentences areas is a deep discussion, right? Yeah. So let's talk about just the language. لقد, verily, swearing, خلق الإنسان في, right? Drowned in the best, like we at the top, highest taqweem. And ahsani taqweemin, actually it's taqweemin, right? Right, let's make sure.
Yeah, it says taqweemin.
Yeah, taqweemin. In now, okay. لقد خلقنا الإنسان في أحسن. I guess everyone's following, right? Because you know the vocabulary. So we said ahsani means, ahsan means the most excellent, the best. Why is it ahsani? Why is it not ahsana? Why is it a majroor? Harf jar. We talked about that in the last class. Fi is a harf jar. Everything after harf jar, after having fi, is kasra. Right? Fi ahsani. Okay. Now this is the idafa construction that I was going to tell you before, but I want to tell you now. Ahsani taqweem min. Ali bhai, why is it? What is taqweem? Huh? Qama yaqumu is? Qama, what's qama yaqumu? Qama? Right. The taqweem is the masdar of what? Form 2. It's the verbal noun, the adverb. Like we discussed before, taqweem is the verbal noun of form 2, qama, qawwama, qawwama yuqawwimu. Taqweem is the organization, the putting together, the standing up of us in the most beautiful way. And this is ahsani taqweemin. Why is it not okay, so let me explain now. This is the idafa that I was going to tell you. This is the construction sentence. Okay. How do we know? Wa alaikum salam. Yeah, Hassan, please. Ahsani taqweemin. Why is it not ahsani taqweemi? Why isn't it ahsani taqweemi?
I don't know. You said something is alpha. Can I talk about it? I'm not sure.
Huh? It's a mudaf ilayh, yeah. But
don't know.
this is the best of putting together. Allah made us, put us in fi, the best of putting together, right?
I don't know what happened.
Okay. Why didn't we say like before? Baladil Amin, Baladil Amini, the secure city. Why isn't this a beautiful a putting together that's beautiful? Anybody know? No. The reason is the idafa construction is something of something else. So as-sayyaratu rayhani. All right, Rehan's car. In Urdu, they often say Jamaat-e-Islami. Okay? They'll say that it means the Islamic Jamaat, right? Or anytime they use that word that means something of something else. They would have said, if it were Urdu, they said Sayyara Rehan, Rehan ki gadi, right? Rehan's car. So this is ahsani taqweemin, the best, most beautiful, most excellent of putting together. This is the idafa construction. In the idafa construction, the second word of the idafa is always majroor. That's all. It's always a
But
majroor.
when we read it, we usually just finish as taqweem. Right?
That's because of tajweed. Ahsani, what the laqad. Okay, now also remember I wanted to make one more the rule of tajweed we're talking about. Laqad. The da is there's qalqala on it. We don't say laqad khalaq. We don't say laqad khalaq. We say laqad. This part of the tajweed. Laqad. There's like this khalaqa. Laqad khalaqa nal insana fi ahsan. Now we should all repeat after me because we're doing tajweed too. Laqad khalaqa nal in. Another thing, the insan. It's not laqad khalaqna al insan. No, it's not laqad khalaqna al insan. It's insan. There's a you can emphasize the noon. Laqad khalaqna al insana fi. After ya, after fi, there is a hamza. A hamza. Ahsan. That's where you can extend it. لَقَدْ خَلَقْنَا الْإِنسَانَ فِي أَحْسَنِ تَقْوِيمٍ. That alif after ya allows you to extend it. You're supposed to. So we don't say لَقَدْ خَلَقْنَا الْإِنسَانَ فِي أَحْسَنِ. لَقَدْ خَلَقْنَا الْإِنسَانَ فِي. Because that hamza is coming, we want to emphasize it. So fi ahsani taqweem. I think you'll even see that. Yeah, you see in the Quran has a mud. You know why it has the mud? It's showing, making it easier to remember that should be extended because there's a hamza that comes after it.
The noon, the insan doesn't have that. But we still
no, because that's it's not an extension of the vowel. It's just a noon. It's because the noon goes to, yeah. And then just like that, your question at the end, we don't say taqweemin because at the end we drop that last
So, but it doesn't change the meaning. It still gets the same meaning across. So
Yeah,
like,
yeah. No, when you're reading, you're not going to have everything pronounced until you actually know what's happening here. In this, the idafa construction makes it clear that it's ahsani taqweemin, meaning the best of a putting together. Okay, and the tanween makes it so that it's a putting together. It's not just, so it's not the putting together. And if it were the putting together, how would we know it was the putting together? It would be al. It would be ahsani at-taqweemi, and there would be no tanween. Right? Did you follow? You following along? Ahsani at-taqweemi. Because if you have al, then it doesn't have tanween. It's not two. It would be just taqweemi. At-taqweemi. This is ahsani taqweemi. The best of any putting together that could be happening, Allah made the best one happen in the human being. Okay, so let's say it again. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Wat-tini wa-zaytuni wa-turi sinin wa hadha al-balad al-amin, which we know amin is the sifa mushabaha. Talking about this, not the Mecca is not just any old city that was safe at one time. It's the complete attribute of safety, security in this. This is the holy place. Swearing by it. And what are we swearing by? لقد خلق. It's called the qalqala. Qalqala is there. لقد خلقنا الإنسان في أحسن تقويم. Again, there's the qalqala there. Taqweem. There's even the surahs, the recitation of them has a beauty to it, that it's put together in a manner that it's like this is why the Arabs could never replicate it. They were just like in awe of how each surah has not only placement of unique imagery and of unique meanings, but also the way it sounds. Here we have over and over again, ahsani taqweem, asfal safilin, ahkamul hakimin. There are words that Allah makes repeatedly with ism tafdeel and has a rhythmic nature to it. Baladil amin, with this deep meaning associated with it too. And this particular ayah, it's the qalqala. And it's emphasis too. He went through all this sweet swearing oaths, and now it's like an emphasis. لَقَدْ خَلَقْنَا الْإِنسَانَ فِي أَحْسَنِ تَقْوِيمٍ. So now there's something here we're thinking, what is this thing that Allah has made us that's so special? And the ulama say that it's because of our particular ability to do good and of to be the best of the best. It's our nature, our fitrah. Allah made us that way. It was His bestowed favor on us that we
Is
good.
just good.
Yeah, and our nature is good, and Allah's and people's abilities that Allah made us the opportunity to make us good. The last point I'll make is just because we end, because then inshallah I didn't plan to end the surah today, but this is the tajweed and the tafsir that I'm going through with the meanings. So this inshallah it's all coming together now, because you know the word, alhamdulillah, you know the vocabulary and you know the rulings. So now you're seeing how it works. I'll just mention one more line, and the next time inshallah we'll finish with these. So لَقَدْ خَلَقْنَا الْإِنسَانَ فِي أَحْسَنِ تَقْوِيمٍ. The idafa construction, something of something else, the best of a putting together. Now, ثُمَّ رَدَدْنَاهُ. Again, there's a qalqala. Radad. So we don't say radadna. We say radadna, right? That word itself means, what does radad mean? Vocabulary? Yeah, recur. It's something that comes back and has a reverberation. It's radad. You go somewhere and you come back. Radad, right? Radad. The word itself has that, you can see it. So thumma means, what's thumma mean? What's Mariam ji? What does thumma mean? Thumma, vocabulary.
Is then?
Yeah, that's right. So thumma means then, but this in this particular sentence here is not just then. That first you did this, then you did this. Allah is actually comparing. After all of this great, beautiful putting together creation, after this great rank, despite all that, after all that, so daraja. Radadnahu ila asfala safilin. So after being the best, the potential of being the greatest, you can come the worst of the worst. And who is he talking about? He's talking about anybody, but he's talking about our akhirah in those who are going to be in Jahannam. Now, this is the interesting thing, link between the surahs. The different surahs have their own connection between them. The next surah talks about Abu Jahl. And Abu Jahl used to have dhulm on the Muslims and the Prophet ﷺ. And so Allah talks about, what does it say? وَكَذَّبَ وَتَوَلَّى. وَكَذَّبَ وَتَوَلَّى. It's talking about, again, كَذَّبَ means to disbelieve. Disbelieve who? Abu Jahl disbelieved. This connection from this surah we talked about. We're gonna mention how those who disbelieve, and this disbelief is referring to Abu Jahl in the next surah, where he basically was the worst of the worst. He saw the Prophet ﷺ with his own eyes and denied that he was he knew that he was the messenger of Allah, but still he heard him and made problems for him and made plots to harm him. So it's an amazing connection that the surahs are also connected in this way. Thumma, on top of that, on top of all this, it's not just then, it's on top of all this. Radadnahu. Now, radadnahu, what does who mean? Does anyone know what who means? Guys, can you guys can you guys go over there with that? All right, we got some kids. Thumma radadnahu. Yeah. So what is radadnahu? Who? What is this who?
It's referring to insan.
Yeah, it's referring to insan. It's true. But what is it? What if it says radadna ha? Okay, these are the pronouns that inshallah, hopefully over time, we're gonna get used to. This when you say who is referring to he. It's referring to something that refers to a masculine. So radadna is we create, read, return. Na is the radad is to return. Radadna is we return. Who is him? Him meaning insan.
What does that mean again?
Na is us.
So who means him?
Him, referring back to insan.
Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, why is Allah ta'ala saying khalaqna or radadna?
Khalaqna, we created.
So Allah is referring to himself, we.
We. This is a royal we. We created. Khalaqnal insana fi ahsani taqweemin. Thumma, on top of, despite all that great favors we've done, radadnahu, we've returned them. And this is with tahqir, where actually Allah is not just saying you're the lowest. There's an element of embarrassment and humiliation that Allah is doing to the person who is asfala safilin. After, despite all that, man, you ruined it, you blew it. You're the worst of the worst. And Allah's this physical beauty, Allah will make those who are disgusting in their habits in the dunya also ugly in the akhirah too. Being beautiful in this world, Allah will mimic their behavior and their facial features based on how we acted now. So those who, for example, all they cared about was, if they were slaves of one thing or the other, they'll be, if they had like horrible things to say, bad tongues, their tongues will become where they'll have to like drag their tongues around. Allah will make us disgusting. So this juxtaposition, complete contrast, change from ahsani taqwim thumma radadnahu asfala safilin. So all right, and this, so radadna is us, we returned. Who refers back to insan. All right, these are all pronouns, and you're gonna get used to quickly, inshallah. Slowly over, just as soon as we go through them. Okay, and the last thing is asfala safilin. Actually, I'll cover this next time. Asfala safilin. Asfala safilin. So I'll pick up this next time, inshallah. It's quickly us. We returned us them to us. Radadna. Who? We is a subject. Na is a subject. Who is the object? And now they have the second object, asfala, because we said the object is always mansub, right? So it's asfal, meaning the most low, asfala, right? Because it's the second maf'ul bihi thani, second maf'ul, meaning we returned him to what? Sometimes there's certain in English we do that too. Even if we say I returned him to class, right? In Arabic, it'd be the second. It's the second of the object. So he returned second object. We returned him to class. Certain verbs need that. Here is asfala and safilina, and this is another idafa construction, the lowest of the low. We'll pick this up next time, inshallah. Does anyone have any questions? Then
Yaman here had a quick question.
Who?
I was wondering if thum can be used. Is the word thum used in modern standard Arabic too, or just Quranic Arabic?
Yeah. You say it. I'm gonna go. I'm going. Adhabu ila bayti, thumma adhab ila balad. I'm going to my house. Then I'm gonna go to the downtown. Yeah.
Oh, downtown, right? Balad is downtown. Okay.
It means city.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Anybody else have any questions? You can ask me. And next class, inshallah, as I said, because the salah ends a little bit later, so it ends up being 7:25 that I'll be here. So we're gonna postpone by 10 minutes. We're gonna actually start 7:25. I'll be here to field some questions, and 7:30, inshallah, we'll start the lesson. And it's good to be a little bit on time. Good. And inshallah, next time I think we're gonna end it. We only have, I think, 2-3 lines left. But read the surah a couple times and to enjoy the beauty of the words that are being put together with the grammar and a little bit of tafsir that we talked about with the tajweed. And if you have any questions, then you can bring them next time. Or you can ask me anything now for 5 minutes. Say Ali bhai.
Okay. Jazakallah.
All right. So there's nothing else? Yeah, was it?
No, that was it.
Oh.
All
All right.
Okay.
Jazak.